Tesla is losing customers. Used market pricing for the brand is a mess. In the last year, the Roadster prices are down 27%. Model Y lost 31%. And the biggest loser, the Model S, lost more than 34% on the used market. Plus, their stock price, well, it's tanked, losing around 22% of its value in the past 365 days. And the public in general doesn't want to buy EVs as much as they did before, with peak interest back in 2021, and it is continuing to fall downwards. All of this is affecting Elon Musk's hold on the market, and the Tesla market, well, it's screwed. So, like, subscribe, and let's go. The biggest news right now revolves around the Tesla market. Here's what I mean. Tesla, and more specifically Elon Musk, has always wanted to drive both its cost and the purchase prices of their vehicles down as far as possible. And to his credit, we've seen this happen over time. The original Tesla Roadster was expensive, with an MSRP of $98,950. The world-changing Model S that followed its launch at a price of $57,400 and could go up to $105,400 depending on trim. But with the introduction of cars like the Model 3 and the Model Y, Tesla has been able to gain a huge share of affordability EV market. And in the last few years, when Elon stated that his dream was to offer a $25,000 Tesla to the public, it seemed like the commitment to cheap, eco-friendly vehicles was continuing. But that $25,000 Tesla idea, it's been put on the back burner at best, and possibly outright canceled for the time being. And well, the irony is that tens of thousands of used Hertz rental Model 3s are now being sold in a fire sale tour for, you guessed it, $25,000 with no negotiation needed. Turns out Musk's $25,000 Tesla dream came true, but in the exact opposite way that he could have expected. Now, you see, in 2021, Hertz rental cars finalized a colossal $4.2 billion purchase of around 100,000 Teslas as well as Polestars and GM EVs to prove that they were committed to sustainable business models. But after a Tesla Model 3 goes through thousands of rental miles, aka random people just thrashing the batteries and blasting curbs, they tend to break. It costs a lot of time and money to fix. And Hertz has actually cited general customer dissatisfaction as well. So, what does this have to do with the Tesla market that I mentioned? Well, first of all, this could hugely impact Elon's plan to sell an actual new $25,000 Tesla. If a third party like Hertz has a large inventory of higher end models at the same or lower price than a new, more affordable Tesla, those secondhand sales are not ending up in Elon's pocket and are poised to scramble the market even more. Additionally, because these Hertz cars will continue to go down in value over the coming years, as most cars do, that will leave customers with the option of spending $25,000 on a new, unproven, and more cheaply made model from Tesla, or buying a much cheaper Model 3 from that Hertz fleet that has proven to be a great daily driver most of the time. Because I, as many of you, have rented from Hertz or just rented rental cars, and you know buying a used rental car is probably not the best idea. And so, with so many used Teslas hitting the secondhand market, well, it's getting diluted. And this may very well affect the resale prices of more premium models like the X or even the S. So, if you're a car buyer right now that wants a cheap EV, this might be a great time for you. In fact, certified Hertz cars come with a 12-month, 12,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and may even qualify for a federal tax credit of up to $4,000. But if you're Elon Musk, you might be worried about your future cheap EV being outdone by your old used models, or by your own market being diluted to the point of no return. Like literally, no return. And speaking of returns, Tesla has been wrestling with some uncharacteristically poor stock market performance. In April of this year, Tesla stock hit a 15-month low point, which topped off its annual change of 43% down. It was one of the worst in the S&P 500, when historically Tesla's stock has been incredibly strong. So Tesla stock is down, so what? Why does it matter? Well, because the truth is Tesla's financial pulse is a really great representation of the EV market and the battery-powered automotive industry as a whole. We can use Tesla as sort of a beacon as what the trajectory looks like in the next couple of years. And FYI, it's not exactly looking great. Here's what I mean. Tesla is in a really unique position right now. They have the opportunity to make building and shipping their cars even cheaper than they do right now. You see, Elon kind of pulled a bit of a Ettore Bugatti. See, Ettore was the man who built and owned the power grid for his car's own factories, so he wouldn't have to deal with the electrical company shutting off his lights. He also built his own in-house silverware because nothing else was good enough for him. But it's another story, and you can check that out up here. It's a good one. Back to Elon. The important part here is that Bugatti wanted to own all the logistical components of his company, from the electricity and the machines that make the machines. And now, like 100 years later, Elon Musk is doing something very similar. By moving a large amount of the battery production in-house with the help of supply partners, and by building more and more of their own parts, from large metal castings to fabricating their own wiring harnesses, their new patented modular wiring design costs them far less to manufacture themselves than to source from other companies. In fact, that wiring harness is in their newest vehicle, the Cybertruck, and it was all made possible by shifting to a full 48-volt system, the very first of its kind. We're kind of getting a bit off track, but the point I'm trying to make here is that, well, in-house manufacturing mantra is dramatically driving down the cost of manufacturing their cars, and Tesla is passing some of their savings directly to the customer. The cost of the Model 3, for instance, has steadily trended downward since its introduction, and when you buy the right spec, it qualifies for government incentives, which bring the cost of the new Tesla to shockingly affordable prices when compared to its rivals. And it's not just manufacturing where they're finding solutions to save. It also carries over to the shipping side of things, where, as I'm sure that you've seen, Tesla has been slowly getting their fully electric long-hauling semi-trucks into commission, mostly for Tesla business itself, believe it or not. Their fleet of around 100 semi-trucks can transport parts for manufacturing, even maybe new vehicles themselves once it's time for delivery. This is all really exciting stuff for Tesla, but I did say that it's not looking great. And that's because there is another side to this coin. And on the other side, well, the public just doesn't want EVs anymore. Okay, that might sound a little dramatic because yes, EV sales have increased at large margins year over year for the last 10 or so years. But that exponential growth that the industry wanted has not quite shown up yet. I mean, Ford's own EV department COO said that the EV market growth is not where they thought it would be just a couple years ago. And these big companies like Ford, GM, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Jaguar Land Rover, and Aston Martin are all massively scaling back their EV production just a few years after they convinced all of us that EVs were going to be the main priority moving forward. Instead, they're going to focus more on hybrid production and respond to the customer's demand that is saying, we're not quite ready yet for everything to be fully electric. So, where does this leave our discussion with Tesla? Well, again, it's a mixed bag. You see, on one hand, Tesla already has 50% of the US's EV market and is making some really interesting strides towards further lowering their costs and streamlining their designs and production even further. But on the other hand here, Tesla is and has always been an EV-only company. They don't make a gas engine, so dialing back EV production and picking up hybrids for their customers is not an option. It was only a matter of time before EV growth had a slump and it left them without a paddle, if you know what I mean. I mean, at this point, the growth rate of EV sales is slowing, and in the next few years, it's predicted to be a third of what it is just a few years ago. And with all the additional market and all the additional market and all the additional market, well, you know, the one thing that might save Tesla's butt is the dollar for capability value of their car. It's really good, you guys. I mean, you could find yourself in a lightly used Model 3 for around $25,000, give or take a few grand. And as for something like the Model Y, well, average used car prices are hovering just around $34,000 and dropping by the month, which if you'd like to find any of these cars, use Auto Tempest and our link down pinned in the first comment. And not to mention, both of these cars have some of the best user interface technologies, battery ranges, autonomous driving functions, and straight up performance in the industry. For Christ's sakes, I mean, the 2022 Model 3 long range will go 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. I mean, that's the same amount of time as a 2025 Mustang GT with the V8 and a performance exhaust. That's a commuter car that will currently cost you about $25,000, tying a sports car that costs twice as much in a street race. Even a seasoned journalist like our friend Jason Camisa, who owns like 10 gas-powered vehicles, said that the new top trim Model 3 Performance makes something like the BMW M3 gas car straight up obsolete in terms of accessibility and performance. It might just be that good. Of course, we haven't driven the new Model 3 Performance yet, so we can't say whether or not we agree. But it sure says something when a consistent sports sedan class leader like the M3 is being compared to a small egg-shaped electric car for its dynamics and performance. And that's the Tesla X factor right there. You can receive sports car level performance in something that won't kill the planet and won't cost you a fortune to insure. Or, well, the last part might not be true because, well, battery production and recycling is a filthy business, and at least for the Model Y, insurance rates are getting out of hand. Like for this guy who wanted to change his insurance policy with his new Model Y and got slapped with a $1,000 increase. Or this guy who was facing a $1,500 increase in insurance premiums from his provider. So yeah, again, it's a mixed handbag. So final thoughts. Given all of this, what does the future really hold for Tesla in the coming years? Well, as we've discussed, this Tesla market scramble with the Hertz situation could put whatever cheap new Tesla plans Elon is cooking back to the drawing board for a while, or maybe forever. Additionally, the EV mania that we've seen in the past couple of years is dying out, and Tesla's EV-only business will have no choice but to wait out the storm because they don't make hybrid cars like the rest of the industry. Pair that with the crazy Model Y insurance premiums, and all of this could absolutely kick Tesla where it hurts. But Tesla's cars remain some of the best buys on the market, if you can find one that isn't actually falling apart. And their customer base is dedicated and loyal, which could help to subsidize the coming losses that Elon himself has predicted. But after all, we just don't have a crystal ball that tells us the future here at Ideal. Well, not yet at least. I mean, I asked Trav to build one months ago and he said he's not even close to being done yet. So we can't tell you the exact gains or losses Tesla's financials or branch cachet will experience in the coming years. But I will say, if Tesla can survive the current Cybertruck issues, Elon's behavior on the internet, and retain most of its share of the EV market, they'll certainly still be trucking along when they come out of the other side. But of course, only time will tell. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. We have new content coming at you every week. And check out some of these Ideal vids up here. I'm Brad, the Financial Cowboy. This is Ideal, and promise me one thing. Keep living the Ideal lifestyle.